All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
so let's just start with from the very beginning about your why, the who, what, why, where, and how of this project.
yeah, absolutely. Basically for me is that I've been feeling very passionate about getting more representation in the fine art space. The more that I dove into it, I was finding that, one, it's one of the most difficult industries in the world for people to enter. But that's really truly based on it being established as some of the most exclusive spaces to get into. Going back to the old galleries in Venice, everything like that, it's like that's the only place art was displayed was if you're allowed in that. So we're
Hmm.
working off a very antiquated model, essentially, of access and representation. It's also been slow, as everyone knows, the typical collectors within the 1%, and then even a smaller percentage of that. But I wanted to do, I've been in the art space for about 3 years now. I've got a background in marketing and branding, worked with Red Bull for quite a while. Um, I see a place where we can create access for more representation in the fine art space for artists that look like us, essentially. So Black in Every Color was just that, was to create a gallery environment, with the high end feel, everything like that, but in non-traditional locations. So
Mm.
this created a case study to have a show that represented all Black, very talented, very skilled artists in a place where if we're not going to be getting in the I'm literally in one of the main five houses here. If that's just going to be something that happens during 1 month of the year, that's that's not enough because we're worth more than just 1 year of highlighting or 1 month of highlighting, right? So essentially, what I wanted to do with this case study was then go to other major real estate spaces, whether it be hotels or these social clubs, anything like that, and get longer installations up to get these artists' work in front of the collectors that are looking for the work. The other end of the market is showing that you are finding that there's more wealth in the Black community, and there is more interest in African American art as well. But now it's a matter of getting that in front of the people that can actually afford to support these artists. So in lieu of going into the traditional gallery space, trying to take it into, we've already talked to the Soho House, we've talked to Noya House, W Hotel, these places where you have the clientele that just need more interactions to it. It's getting it in front of them more often. So that's kind of like the initiative for Black in Every Color. Um, so the next installation of it, what I want to do is have basically a headlining artist like a Cy Williams or something like that, someone who's been in this space for quite a long time, to be one of those people that can open that door and kind of
Mm.
bring in the traditional collectors, but then also introduce them to the other emerging artists around them in the community. And then also that offers mentorship and just learning from that established artist to these other artists that are like on their way up as well. So trying to take that and secure, different months to 3 months long installations so that we can get more exposure to these artists in these places where the collectors are existing. We do have the digital platform, we have Artsy, but what we found is specifically with the fine art space, you can do all the digital
That
ads you want, but
translates,
to get
yeah.
someone to really, yeah, no one's going to really buy a $15,000 painting off an ad. Um, it might help them know who that person is or see their gravity, but it does come down to personal selling, and it does come down to being in those spaces where they're at. Just being in that spot last night, we got a few, or not last night, the other night, we got a few pieces sold. Ran into multiple people who were like, I didn't even know this was here. I'm actually a private investor. I'd love to talk more about getting this work, that work, that. It's literally just getting the representation and the face time in these spaces where they're already operating. And that's only creating more and more interest with these emerging artists. So that's the plan with
Yeah.
Black in Every Color. Yeah,
I'm glad the gist of it. Do you
yeah.
have anything other than that Eventbrite to publish what your mission with the short to long term goal is?
So,
Because
yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead.
go for it.
Well, I was going to say because some of the people that I'd like to reach, I got to reach them by invitation. They want to
Yeah.
have a personal invitation as to even a private gallery showing or any
Mhm.
private experience. But if there is something, I do know some people who are art collectors, and I can't remember the name of the organization was doing these type. I think there was somewhere on Adams Street in the Crenshaw area.
Mhm.
Oh my
Okay.
God, but I'm just messed up right now. But one of my best friends is an art collector and
Mhm.
pretty extensive research he does on not only the piece but the person who's doing it. And if
Yeah,
it's an unknown artist, he likes to get that backstory too.
of course, of
But
course.
the reason why I asked you about the short to long term stories because I'd like to promote whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
And I have some very unusual but very high profile spaces I'm doing events inside of.
Okay.
Um, like the Microsoft Center on the 28th, I selected that space.
Mhm.
Um, I had other spaces I could have used, but we're trying to do a convergence of tech, media, creative art, sports, and
Mhm.
the business of all of that. And so we thought that it would be better to find a space, a box, with four walls and a ceiling,
Yeah.
in a place where they had a brand that was going to connect with one of our pillars, which is the tech space, which Microsoft's trying to get into, gaming, and they're trying to get into every space they can gobble up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be the perfect backdrop or something. But it's in Playa Vista, and I know the people that are the partners for this
Mhm.
project. I'm going to put a link. Actually, I'll just share a screen so you see exactly who they are, because they are
So,
they're a pretty powerful organization called Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation.
okay.
And let me show you who these guys are. Okay, so this organization here, they're a private foundation, but the co-owner, the co partner in this thing it's called the um, CERF, which is the I can't remember the C, but the Entertainment Relief Fund. They got a $600 million grant, and
Mhm.
LA, which is one of the largest regions of the state of California, is getting a pretty sizable part of that. And these guys are the conveners of all the people who are trying to go after that money. And they're pretty powerful people, the usual suspect to go after the 15, $20 million grant. But all of that being
Yeah.
said, they decided to create a digital media entertainment council. And what they do is they get all the gatekeepers in the sector, primarily television and film, but some sports, some
Mhm.
gaming. But they put an emphasis on trying to do analytics and reports. And so they are the ones that had the partnership with Microsoft. And I decided to pitch them on doing an event for an on ramp to this organization here. So it's actually this is the event, April 14th, but it's kind of an insiders conference. It doesn't have a lot of stuff visually, but it's
Mhm.
the UCLA Luskin Center, and it's probably the
Okay.
preeminent showplace in Southern California for culture, art, that meets with high academic, well, especially in this case, professional development. This is UCLA's
Mhm.
Anderson School of Business, which is the School of Media, Entertainment, Arts, and Sports. And so I am doing
Okay.
this event on the 28th as an on ramp to the event on the 14th. And last year's they give an award out every year. It was Maverick Carter, LeBron James' partner. But
Mhm.
year before that, it was Ice Cube. They've had Jerry Bruckheimer, Deborah Lee from BET, on and on. So I think it's about the 10th year I've attended. But this is the first year that I think I'm going to get a presence inside of the April 14th event,
Okay.
because we did at Pauley Pavilion, we did an event, this event here, where I actually produced a panel. And this was um, probably the highest profile venue that I ever used, but we took it over. We took the venue over for a couple of days, loading in. But it literally was that kind of thought process of, well, where would people attending a conference, especially an inside industry conference, like to see things that they could purchase? And who could these people be but people who would pay, $500, $1,500 for registration? So these would be the kind of people that that I'm talking to. They are the folks who are a little bit more cultured, highbrow, but if nothing else, if they didn't bring a checkbook, they would bring that kind of connective tissue to the subject matter.
Absolutely.
And obviously, I don't know how much longer are you going to be at the hotel you're at now?
So this show, I'm curating there for the year, but this show's there through March 31st. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, interestingly enough, this event, April 14th at Luskin, is, and I don't have any pictures of past events there, but they didn't do 2021 and they did 2022. They did 2021 and 2020 because of COVID. But the last year they went, there was quite a few posters. I think that they had posters up, but I'm not sure if they were like period piece posters or vintage posters.
Yeah.
But they're on easels. But I think it's the kind of thing that if promoted ahead of time, people could come and understand that this is a sector of the arts industry or the entertainment industry that people just maybe haven't looked at. So what we're looking at is a theme for everything we're doing with sports media entertainment, even on the 28th, is a nod to the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Nice. Okay.
So anything that's music, anything that's hip hop, it's something that we want to, put some attention to, because we're really looking at trying to educate some of the undergrads and some of the grad school students who have no understanding of some of these artists. It's just amazing, that these Gen Zs and how old are you, by the way?
30.
Yeah. So some of the people that I'm dealing with, 16 to 24, I play music for them and, get a reaction, from them. And they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it's kind of like they've never heard it. Their parents never played it before. So it's an amazing thing to introduce young people to things that were just staples for, other folks. So, so they don't have any buying power for you, but that's part of why I'm doing it, to try to introduce to young creatives and young creative techs, art forms and manufacturing of things that they would never get. And the people who are the faculty and the folks who support them are the people you may want to meet.
Yeah, absolutely. Something like that, is it something where, like, do you have an idea of how you'd want it executed? Like, is it just a matter of like having space there and putting stuff out? Like,
what I think in a perfect world, you'd have to almost take a walk through the Microsoft Center, the Microsoft space, because it's in a suite of the Microsoft regional offices, and then the Luskin Center.
Okay.
It's a big brand new space. So you'd almost have to take that trained eye and see what could we do as a mini installation or something that would allow it to be prominently placed, so that people can not only see it, but they can interact with it in a way that gives you some promotion to the people that would say, wow, this is cool. I mean, because everything that I think about is mixed media.
Yeah.
I like the fact you have the music there. Our world is visual and photography more, but it's something that I would definitely want to be able to make sure that everybody, gets in the mix of it. Man, you have to excuse me. My stomach is killing me. Oh my God, I got.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I mean, you're just getting back. You're just getting back.
Yeah. So what I would like to do, in a perfect world, if you have anything that's music or hip hop related, I'd like to be able to feature it in the event on the 28th. My partner is Jay, his name's Jay Tucker, but he's probably going to go with anything that's going to look cool and hip to the untrained eye. But the trained eye is like, wow, there's the backstory. Here's this guy.
Yeah,
That
for sure.
we can actually start to find out. Well, how much is there any legs, or is there any real connective tissue to what you talked about of being underrepresented, and how you try and get some of those percentages up for recognition and for commerce.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why we're integrating it all with not just representing the artwork itself, but also creating the content to give more backstory on the art itself. So that's something where with this one, we just didn't have like really the capacity to execute on every level as high as we wanted, but we were able to create the content around it, which we'll be sharing through emails and everything like that, and is on Instagram and all that.
What would you have done differently if you had more time and more capacity?
Just found more ways to kind of express these stories behind the artists that we had. So we shot interviews that were phenomenal, really touched on the ethos of the show itself. But those were done, I think, by the Tuesday before the show. So it's just like we didn't have the capacity to get all that done in time. And then put that out, and we want to build out the YouTube platforms, the media platforms, all that kind of stuff. But it's just a lot to do.
Okay, so that's where I can help, because they're not students; they're called apprentices. The backstory on me, and I'll send it to you. But I have a federal and state registered apprenticeship program for digital media creatives, and so I'm paying my people to be able to take on an assignment, and at the end of it, they're going to get portfolio material. But they are they're very good at turning stuff around pretty quickly. So what format are your interviews?
So what I'll do, this is a video, but what I can do is I will send you kind of like a mock-up of the ecosystem of everything that's going on, because even the shows themselves are just one leg of it. The biggest part that we're working on is working with visual artists that are doing brand deals. But a big part of that is creating those media kits and starting conversations with the brands.
Nice.
Essentially, that's where you're getting the major platform. So let me outline that for you, and maybe it'll open up some ideas of where we can intersect even more. And then also send you over some of the hip hop, like some of the artwork and everything.
Man, that'll be great. So let me put my email address in the chat box.
For sure.
And man, I'm going to be. Yeah, I'm getting better. I can already feel some activation here, but man, I'm just knotted up. Oh my God.
Yeah. No worries. You gotta get that rest in, just getting back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was over at the Pan African Film Festival. We were press over there, and all the artists they had over there. It's kind of unfortunate that there were some great pieces, but they weren't given the kind of the gallery setting. It was more like a festival. And when it's a festival, there's so much disconnected stuff, because there's the screenings going on, there's workshops,
right,
and there's this marketplace. And
so some of it kind of turns into noise.
Into kind of a carnival almost. So but they did get there was a place that provided a backdrop to some of the workshops that just opened up called Afrotech. Have you in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall? And I mean, it's like 10,000 square feet. I mean, I don't know who bought this place or leased it out, but they had some interesting, again, individual pieces, but they got lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So email me. I'm gonna look for it, and I'm gonna share it with Jay Tucker, and I'll send you an email kind of introducing, what we're trying to get done, and see if we can make some movie magic.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Sounds good.
Okay, bro. All right, thanks for hanging in there with me.
Man.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.